In a world where every face was unfamiliar, there lived a man named Theo. This was not a world of his birth, but one he awoke to one morning with no memory of how he got there. Everything was alien, yet eerily familiar, as if reality itself had been shuffled like a deck of cards. Each person a card he had never drawn before. Theo's first conscious moments were filled with confusion. The room he woke in was simple, with a bed, a chair, and a window that looked out onto a street bustling with strangers. People walked by, each face new, none glancing at the window, none showing any sign of recognition. His clothes, though fitting well, were not his own. His pockets contained nothing but a small, worn notebook with the first page inscribed with a single sentence. "You are Theo, and you know no one." The streets outside were a tapestry of human life, yet no thread connected to Theo. He walked among them, a phantom in his own life. The market vendors called out prices and goods, but their eyes slid over him as if he were invisible. Conversations buzzed around him, snippets of lives he could not share in. Days turned into weeks, and Theo learned to navigate this world. He found work as a laborer, anonymous among the workforce, where no one asked about his past because no one remembered their own. In the evenings, he would sit in parks or cafes, observing. Each person seemed to have a story, a life rich with connections, but those connections never extended to him. One evening, while sitting in a dimly lit cafe, Theo overheard a conversation between two men about a place rumored to exist, a place where people could be found who remembered. The idea sparked something in Theo, a desperate hope that perhaps he wasn't meant to be forever alone in a crowd. He decided to seek this place, this myth of memory. His journey took him beyond the city to the countryside, through villages where accents changed but faces remained unknown. He traded labor for shelter, shared meals but never names. In his travels, he began to record his observations in the notebook, sketching faces and jotting down overheard stories, creating his own world of connections where none existed in reality. Months passed, and the seasons changed. Theo's journey led him to an old forgotten library, its shelves filled with books that seemed to whisper secrets. Here he met an old librarian, the first person to look at him with recognition, not of him, but of his quest. "You seek the remembered place?" the librarian asked, his voice a creaky hinge. Theo nodded, hopeful yet skeptical. The librarian pointed to a book. "This might help you. It's not a map, but it's directions in a way." The book was aged, its pages brittle, filled with stories of people who, like Theo, awoke in a world of strangers. Each story ended differently, but a pattern emerged. Those who found peace did so by creating their own connections, not by finding old ones. Armed with this new understanding, Theo returned to the city. He started small, offering help to others, sharing his sketches, engaging in conversations. Slowly, he began to weave himself into the fabric of this strange world. He organized community events, started a small art collective where people could share their talents, their stories. One night during an art exhibition he had helped organize, a woman approached him. "I think I was looking for you," she said, her eyes searching his. "I've felt like a stranger everywhere, but here tonight I feel I might belong." And there, amidst the sketches of faces he had drawn, Theo realized that perhaps the world wasn't made up entirely of strangers. Maybe it was filled with potential friends waiting for someone to notice them, to connect. He wasn't finding his past. He was building his future, one person at a time. Years later, Theo's notebook had grown thick with stories, not just of strangers, but of friends, of a community he helped foster. The remembered place, he understood now, wasn't a location but a state of being, where one's heart could finally feel at home among others. In a world where everyone was a stranger, Theo learned that the only way to not be alone was to never stop reaching out, to keep offering parts of yourself until someone, somewhere, reaches back. And in doing so, he found his place in a world where he was once just a man among strangers. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Enjoy more stories like this on the Epic Quest Chronicles YouTube channel.